Hi, I'm Dani Busboom Kelly. I'm the new head volleyball coach, and as Karen had said, thank you all for being here. It's awesome to see this many media members covering our sports. Well, I think for us, the biggest stories have been number one, moving to Cardinal Arena, and that's something when I got hired in January, we made the decision to do. And as you know, Tom Jurich doesn't make mediocre facilities or remodel mediocre facilities. So I really think the public is going to be super fired up to see Cardinal Arena. It looks fantastic. We've added balcony seatings to expand the attendance, and it's going to be one of the best volleyball venues in the country, especially it's volleyball only. No other sports are in there anymore. Second, we took some risks and we moved an all ACC selection out of the middle. We put her on the outside. That's Tess Clark. So she's been training as an outside hitter since the spring and been doing a fantastic job. She's also, reiterating the senior leadership, a great leader and somebody we wanted to get as many balls to as possible this fall. So that was a big risk by us, but I think one that's going to pay off. But yeah, the schedule, we open up with Minnesota and Wisconsin that were just ranked number 4 and number 7. So two teams that expect to be in the Final Four every year. So that will be quite the test as a brand new coaching staff with players that are moved around. And last night, social media is a big thing. I tweeted, I sincerely love this team and our staff, and that's really how I feel about this group. They're hungry. We all have something to prove, not just the players, the staff as well, and we want to, make this program proud and make Christine Herring and Tom Jurich, feel like the move to Cardinal Arena is all worth it. For me, I was assistant here 6 years ago, so I saw firsthand how this athletic department ran and Tom Jurich's leadership, and it did not take much more than a couple phone calls to convince me to take the job. And I also felt like Louisville is not a volleyball program that's at the bottom. This is a program that's been to 4 Sweet 16s, has great history of success, so it wasn't like a major rebuilding project, so I feel like I got really lucky being a first head coach, taking over a program that already has a fantastic foundation. I think, we have a young staff, but we also all are very experienced and have a lot of different experiences, so I think that's pretty unique. A lot of volleyball staffs are made up of somebody who's been in coaching for 15 years and then 2 newbies. So it's pretty cool, the makeup of our staff and the energy that we have. I think that attracts young athletes, but the move to Cardinal Arena has been huge in that way because we can show off a volleyball-only facility. We don't have to share with basketball. We don't have to share a weight room with anybody. It's literally just for us, and we kind of call it the volleyball compound because we have a team room, a video room, a training room, a locker room, and a weight room. So it's pretty impressive to show that when they go other places and they have to practice at certain times. They can't get in the gym at certain times because other sports are using the facility.
I know you were hired pretty soon after Louisville's season wrapped up, but did you feel like you had any catching up to do, or when you got here, or not so much?
Not so much with the team because I knew some of the players actually because I briefly recruited them when I was here 6 years ago. Volleyball recruiting is very early, so I was familiar with the roster and I've always kept up with what's going on. But recruiting, I think whenever there's a turnover, you're going to have to play catch up. So that definitely was a major focus of ours this spring.
Dani, what do you feel like? I think you were picked 6th or 7th in the league, but what do you feel like the expectations and what kind of team do you anticipate having?
Well, I think our expectations we're putting on ourselves is to finish better than 6th. But as far as the conference goes, I don't necessarily think that's a bad place to be. So we can surprise some people. Nobody's seen Tess on the outside. We have a transfer setter from Penn State who's going to get some playing time who nobody's seen. So we're going to have a completely different team than they saw last year. Huge for our sports in general because every university pours money and time into football and men's basketball, but to bring a recruit on campus and they see the best soccer stadium in the country, they're going to see one of the best volleyball venues. Now, field hockey, I have so many recruits say, oh my gosh, field hockey, they have a field and lacrosse has their own field, so it's a pretty special place for our sports. It really does set the tone.
Danny, what's your favorite part of the new Cardinal Arena design?
Oh, that's tough. So the balconies on the end zone, so that's where we're adding seats, but they're going to be an amazing view. You're going to overlook the court. It really closes in the gym. So for opposing teams, it's going to be a nightmare to play there because you're going to have fans surrounding you the entire way.
I was going to kind of ask that. How does that change the game for you guys? You have 1,000 fans packed on top of you rather than scattered throughout the center.
Yeah, the energy is going to be insane. The one thing, though, being in there now, we can't shank many balls because they're going to go up into the balconies. So we're not going to be able to run those down. So that changes our boundaries a little bit, but I'll take the energy over that any day, that's for sure. And, you know, I think, we didn't even mention this, but just being on campus, students, I think, will get more involved. I don't think they wanted to go all the way downtown for volleyball. So now they can just, you know, get Chick-fil-A and come to a volleyball game. So.
Danny, you mentioned Tess. What has Molly been like in the preseason on the first team, all ACC?
Yeah, Molly's been great. You know, she's definitely one of the most probably skilled volleyball players in the country. It's just challenging her to be a leader and to be vocal, and that's what you want out of your libero. But she's been awesome. I already have seen big improvements from her in the spring. But skill-wise, there's not a ton of coaching to do with Molly. She's already a fantastic player. Wilma, she's been doing great, and you know, she hasn't really played much. She didn't play much at Penn State, so she's trying to prove herself, and she has a chip on her shoulder that, you know, she can lead a team. So it's been fun to have her in the gym. She's also pretty hungry to be a leader. And then Alexis Hamilton is from Louisville. She's a freshman. She's a DS libero, and she's also really raised the level of competition in our gym and in that position. And yeah, those two probably stick out to me, especially as far as the new players.
Selling point was he for you to take this job?
Huge. So I'd say a big chunk of it, probably 75% of the reason. So I wanted to work for him, and I believe in what he does, what he says he's going to do. So I knew when he said we're going to do Cardinal Arena, we're going to do it right, that it was going to get done. And I also knew he supported all the sports, not just, you know, the major ones.